Hey, what's up everyone? Today I want to show off my 8-gallon Nano. This is the tank that really got me back into the hobby. I've been doing this about 10 years on and off, and a friend gave me this 8-gallon Nano, and I said, this time I wasn't going to be lazy because water changes were going to be so easy. You have to do such a small volume of water for water changes. So I said, yeah, let's try corals again. I've got the knowledge. I just needed to get down the discipline part of it. And this tank has been going really well. It's been up and running for over a year, and I started adding corals after about 6 months, and everything is just growing great. I did have a little bit of an alkalinity swing, maybe this over the last couple weeks that I've been trying to recover from. Alkalinity's been at about 9. I really wanted around 10. I've had a pagoda cup for about 40 years now, and it really has probably suffered the most. You can see my Duncan is not looking too happy. Just a couple things. You can kind of see the tissue recession around the skeleton if I could ever get the phone to focus. The sexy shrimp seem to pick out the dying tissue, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I really don't want them to associate coral with food. But so far they seem to be doing okay. I feed them every other day or so and keeps them pretty full and happy. There are a couple new polyps showing up on the Duncan. Everything is showing growth, but with that alkalinity swing, I did have a little bit of RTN. But everything seems to be recovering slowly, except for my pagoda cup, which you will see later in this video, is starting to show polyp extension, but it looks pretty sad at this point. So most of this video is just a quick overlook at all the different coral frags I have. Obviously this is an 8-gallon Nano, so most of the coral frags I have are just, that coral frags, not colonies. Everything is going to be slowly growing out. This is my Duncan, not Duncan, this is my Blastomusa. It has about 6 heads on it. I've had this for 4 years. I had it in the 30-gallon originally and decided to move it over to this tank, and it has just done awesome. So this is a very cheap light I have running on this. Just it's an 8-watt wave point, and I got off Amazon, like 50 bucks, and it grows a bunch of LPS and softies. It does pretty good. I'm not expecting it to last too long, so if the light ever goes out, I do have a backup, but honestly I'm thinking about transferring everything over to the 30-gallon. This was more of an experiment just to kind of get me back into the hobby full force. I've been keeping fish for years and years and years, and I've tried corals but never succeeded until I got this one. And this one's done really well because I've run only RODI water. In the past I've always done tap, and that's why the fish have been okay all this time. But corals I've kind of stayed away from. I had kids, and life gets in the way. But this little tank has been, although it is a small volume of water, as long as you keep up with the top offs and water changes on a routine basis, it's really not that bad. A lot of people say small volumes of water can be really hard to maintain just because of the swings, and I definitely saw the effects of it with the alkalinity swing, but that was my fault for not checking it for about a week or two. So back to checking it every day just to make sure it's staying consistent. Had to adjust my my top off water because everything is growing so fast. It's really starting to consume a lot of alkalinity. So this is just basically a couple quick shots. This is with all the pumps off. I bought this 8-can. It was bright orange, and when I put it in the shade, it has started to rainbow. Once I can get the phone to focus, you'll see some of the colors coming out. I have another shot of the video that really shows the colors a little better. Here's a shot of the pagoda cup. You see some polyp extension, but it's looking very sad. It's not showing its green color like it used to. It did not take long, for it to really get hurt after the alkalinity swing. The only other thing I saw really that it affected was the Duncan coral. But now that things have been a little better, as you can see, everything is fully extended. It looks really good. The pagoda cup is still recovering slowly but surely. I'm really hoping to bring it back. I've had it for so long, but as you can see, it's really small, so you would think that a piece like that would have grown over years, but my husbandry skills have just recently, within the last year or two, really started to grow. I've started to do my research and really started to do things right. So this coral has held on through all the abuse. But as you can see, it's starting to get better, so I'm really hoping that it comes back. It's been doing really good, popping up new heads, and it just until like the last week or two, when I had the alkalinity swing, it's really started to show some hurt. Everything is growing. This thing, I feed probably a couple times a week, so every once in a while, like you can see right now, the 8-can is kind of closed up. I think it's digesting food and about to spit it out. I was able to adjust the colors. You can kind of see the colors pop a little more, how it's a little more rainbow. I got really easy corals because I was just starting out again. But so far, everything has done really well. Even the chalice, some people want to hate on the Hollywood stunner, but it's done really well for my cheap light. Has started to grow, pretty rapidly. It's probably one of the fastest growing corals in the tank right now. It started out with just a very small frag and has started to grow pretty quick. I mean, I'm only running 8 watts of light on this little tank, and everything is doing pretty well. I've never been able to keep zoas, and this is the first time I've had zoas and had them grow, so I really would like to make this mainly a zoanthid tank, poly tank. I do have a soft spot for Blastomusa. You can see that purple and green one right there. It's all very small because it's such a small tank, but at the same time, I know that small frags are a little bit more challenging just because they're not so established, but at the same time, it's awesome to see them grow and transform into a colony from something so small that you knew, that you were able to keep water quality to the point where stuff actually grew and propagated. Just trying to get a shot. You can see at the base, I've got a couple, I think 2 new heads popping up on the bottom of that Duncan coral right there, just right below the flesh and where the green starts. I'm trying to get the better shot, but it's kind of hard with this tank, and that when it opens, you can kind of see it a little better right there. The 2 little bumps at the bottom, starting to form 2 new heads. Really exciting. I've had that coral for about 6 months, and it's finally starting to show new growth. It's my Leptostria. It's got blue mouths that sparkle out to kind of green and brown tentacles. Really cool. That coral has started to rainbow on me as well. It was a bright orange, and then I guess because my lights aren't that powerful and I've got it not really in the center, so it started to show some green. Those are probably my favorite zoanthids. I put them up top. They seem to really like the intense light, as far as what you call intense, being only 8 watts. But you can kind of see on the left bottom, you got a new little polyp showing up. I started out with 5 heads, and now I've got 8 or 9. Really just happy with all the growth. I haven't lost any coral. I did have some issues with my salinity in the beginning. I was using a refractometer, and now I've switched to a hydrometer. Actually, I changed it around. I was using a hydrometer, and I've switched to a refractometer, and the refractometer is 100 times more accurate. It has cured all my salinity issues. I just cannot believe that my coral survived when I was running, like 0.1031. It's just amazing what corals can survive through if acclimated over a slow process of time. So I'm glad I was able to get that situated, and since I have, the colors of everything have really started to pop. Everything's started to grow even faster now. It's really ignited my passion for this hobby once again, and that's why I've started this series, and that's why I've started the 30-gallon, starting to move forward. So I just wanted to show this tank off, and I hope you guys enjoy the coral and hope you enjoy the progress.